Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Verse 21st, just looking back on that. Agamat me manaha anyatra sampratam cha sthirikritam. My mind went elsewhere. That's literally what it means. Agamat, lit, parokshe. Now, it means, what is that, aorist formation. So, agamat, my mind went. Where did it go? Who knows? Sampratam, now sthirikritam, with great difficulty I have caught it and now it is here. Look, my mind is with me. Oh, really? That's wonderful. And then you say, what? What's wonderful? Where the mind is with you. What mind? And then we say, never mind. That's all there is to say. So the mind is like that. And agamat means it is here. It has gone. Sthirikritam, now it is back. It has been stabilized. It has been stabilized. And in this discussion, we forget a very important thing. What do we forget? Who is the one who is saying this? Who is the watcher of the mind? Who is the one that is who is the one that is the observer of the mind? I. That I alone. Think of yourself as that I, who is not the mind, but who is able to watch the mind. And you see, then one complains. When we complain, like Arjuna complains in the 6th chapter. My mind keeps wandering. That's not a complaint. Mind is supposed to wander, otherwise how will it pick up things? It has to pick up impressions, and very quickly. Somebody is mad, somebody is happy. And then you quickly say, oh, stay away from A. And doesn't matter, be around B. Doesn't matter. Quickly you have to come to conclusions like this. And you're crossing the road and you see something, traffic going in the wrong direction. That happens a lot in India. And so suddenly somebody feels like taking a shortcut and they're going the wrong way. And you think you know which side the traffic is coming, so you look this way, but then it's coming from that way. And so quickly you have to adjust. You have to adjust how and when you're going to cross the road, and how are you going to cross the road, what are you going to do. You have to adjust. All this you have to adjust. And so the mind has to be alert. It has to go frame by frame by frame seamlessly. Just like the motion of this hand. It's not appearing to you like this. That's like a bad cartoon. Somebody who doesn't know how to make cartoons. Yeah, it's just seamless. That's because the mind is frame by frame. It is going with you always. It's with the thing that needs to be perceived. It's doing its job. Yet Arjuna complains, Chanchalam himanah Krishna pramathi balavadridam tasyaham nigraham manye vayoriva sudushkaram. Oh, Arjuna, oh Krishna, Arjuna complains. Chanchalam himanah, my mind is extremely fickle. The one who is saying my mind is fickle is not fickle. That is what we have to understand. Pramathi, it's stubborn. I say to the mind, please chant Om Namah Shivaya. And the mind says, yes, but then it does whatever it wants. So very sneaky and stubborn. Balavat, extremely determined to have its own way. Dridam means it's certain that it's not going to listen to me, that much is certain. Tasya aham nigraham, trying to catch this mind is very difficult. Like even catching air. Somebody says, please, what shall I bring you? Please bring me a fistful of air. How is that possible? How is it possible to catch air? In fact, compared to the mind, the air is easier to catch, Arjuna says. So here, this is what where the objectivity goes, because one starts getting troubled because the mind is doing all kinds of gymnastics. It's delving into the past and pulling out memories. You like that? No, put it away. Some painful experiences. It goes into the attic, and then, attic of the past. And then it pulls out all these things. Oh, did you remember this? I don't want to remember this. Go away. It will do whatever it wants. And the identification with the mind is very, very strong for everybody. And so what does the person do? The person comes to a very sad conclusion. The mind cannot be mastered. Oh, Master Krishna, the mind cannot be mastered. Arjuna tells his guru, Lord Krishna, the mind cannot be mastered at all. And the trick here is to not fall into identifying with the mind, not fall into that trap. It's a fallacy, because the one who is able, it's a simple logic. In order to sense motion, you have to be stationary. And if you are sensing the motions of the mind, you know exactly where it is. Come out of the attic of the past. Don't rummage there. You tell it sternly. So you know it's gone into the past and it's pulling out things from boxes. Already a mess. Or it is sitting and fantasizing about the future. Not very nice either. In the moment, it looks nice. But then it also again leads to disappointment, because what it fancies is not what is. It fancies that you have $10 million. You don't. Okay. And so therefore you may get a few moments of enjoyment, but then it always leads to sad sorrow. So it's a sad situation, sad conclusion, sad feelings, sorry, issues. It just leads down to that dangerous road. So it's either in the past, it's in the, it's either in the past or in the future. That is the problem with this mind. Now the main thing to do is to bring it here and now. To bring it here and now, there are many upayas, remedies. We are not trying to control the mind. We are not trying to remove the mind. That would be a terrible thing. We are not trying to make the mind not to think. Why? Let it think. Because if you say, I'm trying to not think, then that becomes a thought that you cannot get rid of. I must not have any more thoughts. I must not have any more thoughts. No thought is my thought. No thought is another thought. Then it becomes another thing you have to get rid of. You're stuck with that. Let the mind be what it is. Let it go here and there. You don't go with it. That's the thing. You watch it. Just like you're watching a gymnastic show. They are doing cartwheels. Now they are on the bars. Now they are in the swing, swinging from nerve to nerve. And now they are doing this, doing that. You just watch. And when you watch, you can see that it's almost like a fascination. Oh, it can go here also. Interesting. It can do this too. Now it is doing a somersault. It becomes very entertaining when you disengage from identifying solely with the mind. Solely means what? Mind is I, but I am not the mind. Mind is me. Because where else, what else will it be? It's all Brahman. Brahman is me. And so the mind is Brahman. Brahman is not the mind. And because Brahman is every single thing without becoming any one thing. So this is a two-part process. First, whatever I watch, I am not. This we already saw in verse number 11 or 12. Ghatad drashta ghatat bhinnaha. So the observer of pot is different from pot. The observer of the body is one with the body. No, is different from the body. And similarly, by extending that logic, the observer of the mind is different from the mind. Separate. So that is the first level of intervention here. First step. And the second step is to tell the mind, okay, your gig is up. Yeah, I'm on to you. Where else you'll be? You'll be in the attic or you'll be in the basement. Yeah, that's what you are. In some damp basement, feeling sorry for yourself. That's what you're going to do. Your gig is up. Yeah, the mind will say, I have seen better days. I'm having a hard time. And then you say, yes, come with me. I'll give you a little exercise. I'll give you a little exercise to stay right here and to do this so that, we can work together. Me and you can just be partners in producing, in not producing any ashanti. Ashanti means, some kind of a disturbance. No disturbance, let's have peace. The mind, because it is so dejected and miserable and it's having a difficult time right in this second, agrees. If it was not having a difficult time, it would not be agreeing. So it agrees. It says, okay, what do you want me to do? Say Om Namah Shivaya. Think Om Namah Shivaya. Oh, I can do that. Om Namah Shivaya. What happened? Nothing happened. No. Think again. Om Namah Shivaya. What again? Okay. Om Namah Shivaya. Think again. Om Namah Shivaya. What? Same thought. Yes. But I want to be free. I'm a free range mind. And I am used to a lot of space. I'm organic, free range. And I just want to go here, go there, lay a few eggs, and then watch them hatch, and then, and have a nice family of miserable thoughts. This is my plan. And here you are asking me to think the same boring thought. Where is Shiva? Do you see him anywhere? No. Then why to think of something you can't even see and you can't even relate to? This is the mind, trying to argue. Then what you tell it is, there is cake afterwards. So just do this. Oh, there is a reward. Yes. Really, there is cake. Really, there is cake. Oh, that sounds wonderful. Okay. Just for a little while, only Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya. And then after that, again, it strays. This time, not the basement, not the attic. It goes into the terrace. Okay, it goes on the roof because it's kind of flying high, thinking of things. A few Om Namah Shivayas gave it a little pair of wings. So it flew off and then it's there. And then what do you have to do? Bring it back. Usually the mind has a series of thoughts that are called Vakya Vrtti Pravaha. A flow of thoughts that are vijati, means nothing to do with one another. Somehow without any connection, it just jumps from one thing to another. In other words, connections are there, but you don't see them, obviously. You think of Honda and the next thought is Bonda. Bonda means some kind of a nice fried fritter. Very tasty. And so naturally, and you say there is no rhyme or reason. There is a rhyme. Honda, Bonda, it rhymes. That's why the mind went there. There is definitely a rhyme. There is also a reason, but you don't know that. It's somewhere in the unconscious mind, the connection and the reason are there. But it is not understood, it is not known. And so this is what happens. And then it just goes. The mind just goes from, that so-called free range mind, where it just goes around, flopping from here to there and, flying around. It's actually very routinized, as we talked about earlier. It's not free range at all. It is very mechanical, shallow level thinking, going from memory to memory, usually one bad memory to another. Reproducing and rehearsing the past rather than being in the present. This is the problem. So this is generally what the mind does. Vijatiya vritti pravaha. Now this Vijatiya vritti pravaha, we have to convert to Sajatiya vritti pravaha. Just make it think the same thought. And when it strays, bring it back. Then it thinks the same thought for a few more times. Then it goes away again. You just catch it, hold of it lovingly and bring it back as many times as it goes away. The Sajatiya vritti pravaha makes the mind into a very comely and manageable mind. So we don't talk of mind control or anger control, emotion control. We talk about mind management. So the unmanageable mind becomes manageable because it is told to, it's just made into a one-trick pony. Same thing, you keep repeating. You repeat the mantra, it is meaningful. It's a kind of it's a prayer. It's nice. You repeat the mantra, you know the meaning, it's meaningful and it is a prayer. And then prayerfully you repeat it and you keep asking the mind to repeat it. You're working with the mind and creating Sajatiya vritti pravaha. And this is what is called what are they called? Delta waves. That's what it is. The deep meditation delta waves is the Sajatiya vritti pravaha, what they have studied. Otherwise, usually there are these alpha waves jumping around. Not very nice. And so this is something which is a very, very wonderful thing, because in this what happens is that the mind becomes much more manageable. You have a say over the ways of the mind. And then you understand that even when the mind was going all over the place, it was never you. And here you are managing the mind. Again, it is not you. You are managing that which is an object of your consciousness, awareness, called the mind. In an Upanishad called the Amrita Bindu Upanishad, the first verse is very, very nice. Mana eva manushyanam karanam bandha mokshayoho. The mind alone is the cause for both bondage and liberation. Very interesting. It either frees or ensnares, depending on how it is used. Bandhaya vishayasaktam nirmuktam vishaya nirmuktam smritam. So bandhaya, in order to feel this bondage, vishayasaktam means it's a mind that is completely addicted to objects of desire. The mind that is enslaved by the objects of desire further goes or threatens to enslave the I. It cannot really enslave the I, but it does a number on the ahankara. Makes you think that you are having a hard time and you are feeling bound. And then that which is not vishayasakta, the mind that is not addicted to objects of desire, is nirmukta, is free. So the mind is not an individual. From this Vakya, from this sentence of the Upanishad, from this verse, we understand that the mind is not an independent agent. It is trying to enslave you, but then it itself is enslaved by what we call raga and dvesha. And those are the raw materials. Raw materials for cooking up some addictive substances. That's what it is. And then under their addiction, the mind tries to colonize the ahankara. The I, that is what the I means, the I, that is the I notion here, which is closely aligned to the I, the consciousness. It is confusing because the I notion and the I live in the same body, mind, sense complex. Difficult to tell them apart sometimes. This is why it has to be carefully understood. In the Kathopanishad, we have a very nice chariot analogy. A very nice allegory. So first we have the chariot, and the chariot is this body. Because it has a journey, it goes from place to place. So that is the chariot. Chariot is this body. And then the Rathaswami, the owner of the chariot, is the one who is sitting in the back. Rich person can afford a chauffeur, a driver. And the 5 horses are the sense organs. They want to graze in the sense objects. In the pasture of sense objects, they want to graze. So then we have the reins. That's why they're not allowed to graze everywhere. We have the reins because they need to go. The chariot needs to go on a particular road for reaching the destination. All this is metaphorical. We'll get to that. So then the horses have to be reined in. So somebody has to hold the reins. The reins themselves are one level of restriction. And then somebody holds the rein and directs them, turn left, turn right, go straight, all these things. And the one who is the driver is the one who takes orders from the Rathaswami and makes sure the destination is reached properly. This is the example. Here the body is the chariot, and the I notion, which is mixed up with the I, obtaining in the body, mind, sense complex, is the owner of the chariot, the passenger seated there. And the 5 horses are what? 5 sense organs, grazing in the respective sense objects. If they are not reined, they will flee. They will even destroy the chariot if they are not, they'll just trample over everything and run away. But they are tethered by reins. Now, what are the reins? The reins are the mind. The first level of saying, these are the desires I'm not going to pursue, comes with the reins. The wielder of the reins, the driver of the chariot, is who? Buddhi, the intellect. The intellect makes the decision. Yes, it is available, and yes, I really want it, but no, I'm not going to let myself have it because this is not the right time, nor the right place, and this is not good for me. The one that makes that decisive decision is called Buddhi. Atmanam rathinam vidhi, shariram rathamevatu, buddhim tu sarathim vidhi, manaf pragrahamevacha, indriyani hayanyahu, vishayamsteshu gocharan, atmendriya mano buddhi, bhokta ityahur manishinah. So this conglomerate of the I notion, manaha, the mind, indriya, sense organs, is now a new entity is born. Bhokta, the consumer, the desirer, the wanter. It brings in all these things. Because otherwise, how do you do bhoga? You are the wanter, you are the desirer, then you are the doer. because you want the objects of desire. Then you are the doer, and then you get the, then you become an experiencer or an enjoyer, bhokta. All these things are there, powered by the mind. And then the chariot analogy goes on to say very nicely that the problem is that of a bad driver. If the driver is sound, then the destination is easily reached. But if the driver is had too much to drink, what is that called? DUI. And then the driver is driving where? The what? The chariot into a ditch. Or on the other level, you can say the horses are to blame. This is what they used to do in ancient war times. You go sneak off into the enemy camp. The soldiers and the king would all be in their respective tents, sleeping. That's how the idea of camping came. And then the animals, the elephants and the horses would all be tied outside. And they would make the horses intoxicated just before dawn, before the battle is going to come in the enemy camp. So the horses and the elephants would throw off the chariots, throw off their riders, and behave in terrible ways, poor things. And then the enemy would lose the battle. So here also, let's say there was a drunken horse. Kadashva. Kadashva means bad horse. Yeah. So the bad horse, bad boy. So what will it do? It will take you in the wrong direction. It will take you completely awry, askance, because you wanted to go here, but then it ends up somewhere else. And you are lost again and again and again. Life after life after life, you are lost. And then so what? So now, therefore, the driver and the horses must be well matched, and the driver should be able to steer the horses properly so that you are going on the road rather than on the shoulder. Even roads have shoulders, okay? Yeah, not just people. And you're going on the road, and then you don't fall into the ditch. You end up at the destination. What is the destination? You. Who is the driver? You. Who is the passenger? You. Everything is you. The seeker and the sought are one and the same. The destination in the Upanishad is described as Vishnoho Paramam Padam, the ultimate destination where you seek no more, where the all-pervasive one, Vishnu, is understood as yourself. And so the driver turns around and teaches. In the Bhagavad Gita, that same chariot imagery is applied. If you've seen the photo of the Bhagavad Gita, one of the pictures, very famous pictures, where Arjuna is holding Krishna is holding the reins, turning towards Arjuna and teaching him. So that is how the buddhi, which is like an inner guru of sorts, that is the one that is telling you to either do this or not do this, or how to do this, when to do this, what to follow. So therefore, the mind is a very funny thing to follow. It should follow you. You cannot follow it. You can just observe it jumping, hopping up and down. And then say, when you're ready, I am ready. When you're ready, I can be ready for you. And then let us work together. So that this basement attic doesn't happen. And really, do you want to be rummaging in those dusty memories? Really? Well, no. Okay then. And the horses, again, the mind is made to teach the horses. Here, who are the horses? The sense organs. Sense organs are not really, they don't have a mind of their own. Sometimes you say that, but they really don't have a mind of their own. They are just like reporters, news reporters. They will say there are pakodas being fried in the neighbor's house. They just come and tell you that. Some very nice stuff in the neighbor's house is being cooked. You decide to go there. and say, did I leave this the last time I was there? Did I leave something behind? In the hope that you will be invited for chai. Doesn't happen because karma doesn't, you don't have the karma needed for that. Because they will say, no, even at the doorway, the door opens only a crack. Your nose has already gone inside. And they say, I don't think you left anything behind. Bye. So the sense organs are just reporters. In order to show up at the door like a little doggy, what do you need? You need to have already made a certain decisions. So the mind has followed and has been, has succumbed to the sense organs and followed the reporters. Where did you get this news item from? Let me go see for myself. Is this really true? What's going on over here? You better come along and ratify what I'm seeing is correct. This is what it is. So managing the mind means one is able to disentangle oneself from identifying with it. The mind is not the agent, because this is important. Why? The mind should fall in line, and this is important because for many reasons. The mind is not an agent of this knowledge of oneself as Brahman, Atma, the whole, Ishvara, whatever you want to call it. The mind is not an agent of this knowledge. The mind is simply a receptacle where the knowledge takes place. The mind is not the author of this knowledge. It's a plagiarizer, all right, because it will put its name on it and it will say, I produced this knowledge. It doesn't. It's not a producer. It's not a producer at all. Secondly, this knowledge is not a product. It is you. If it were a product, then it would be somebody or something's brainchild, somebody's brainchild. It is not. It is you. It is very much you. So that knowledge is you. That knowledge of yourself as glorious, free of pain, free of sorrow, free of everything. It's you. So therefore, the mind has no role here. And so first, the mind has to be told to get off from the driver's seat, because that's not where it belongs. That's absolutely not where it belongs. It's sitting on a throne trying to judge everything. It's sitting on a throne and trying to run the show. It has to be dethroned. That's why in the Taittiriya Upanishad, we will see this later. Yato vacho nivartante apraapya manasa saha. The mind, from which causeless cause, the mind and the speech beat a sad retreat, having been unable to objectify Brahman. They went with great gusto. They all thought, they both thought, mind and speech thought, I'm going to nail this Brahman. I'm going to just bring it back. I'm going to bring Brahman back for everyone to see. And the mind tells speech will become famous. Like two scientists winning the Nobel Prize for collaborating. It happens in the field of medicine, economics, so many things. So two very scientists, they've been working. They may not even be living in the same place or working with the same university, but they are working together. They have written so many important books and papers together. And they have come and, discovered this. So they get a call, you have been awarded the Nobel Prize. So the mind is already gone there, thinking, I think I'm going to get a Nobel Prize because in all the Vedanta texts, nobody has been able to catch Brahman, non-objectifiable, but I'm going to change all that. Oh, speech, I'll share it with you. And speech says, oh, you're such a great thinker. Such a great thinker. I'm honored to write down your thoughts. I'm honored to give voice to your thoughts. It's wonderful to collaborate. And when they go to catch Brahman, they cannot, because it's like it's like a cat or a dog trying, sometimes they get the crazies and they keep chasing their own tails, going round and round and not succeeding. That's exactly what they do. Then the mind and the speech, they slink back. What happened? You went on a big project. You were going to catch hold of Brahman. What happened? Well, we thought, let somebody else do it. Why should we do it? This is how this is how the Upanishad, the Taittiriya Upanishad, talks about the futility of categorizing everything, categorizing Brahman, putting it in a box. It doesn't work. That's all the mind can do, is put things in boxes. That's what it does. So then, should I disband the mind totally? No. What should I do? You bring it in through the service door, the back door. In big restaurants, hotels and all, there is a place where the guests enter. That's the main door. It will have a carpet which says, welcome. We have been waiting for your money. Welcome, come in. And there'll be some fancy word, concierge, to say, oh, what do you need? Let me show you to your room. And there'll be somebody to bring in your luggage, all these things. And of course, there is the underbelly of the hotel where all the cooking takes place, and then they have to order cleaning supplies and order so many things. They have to, laundry comes, so many things come. And if they all start to come through the front door, the guests will leave. They will say, what is this? This is an eyesore. What is this? All these things. And so there's a separate door for deliveries and dropping off things like this. It's called the service entrance. So mind no longer walks in through the welcome mat and occupies a place of agency. It doesn't go and sit on the throne. It is called back when it comes with the head hung down, unable to catch Brahman. When it says, I have no other, I don't know where Brahman went. I almost had him, but then he left. And then you pat it on the back and say, never mind. So you don't want me anymore? No, I definitely want you. Oh, can I come in? Yes, your door is in the back. Come through the back. Come through the back as a sevak, to do seva. You are in service of this knowledge. You are not the author of this knowledge. You cannot catch this knowledge. The knowledge has to catch you. You have to be allowed to get caught. You don't nail this. It nails you down until you understand. You have to learn to stay. All these, this catch, kill, nail mentality doesn't work here. Because we are talking of the one that is the catcher. We are talking of the nailer. We are talking of the killer. The killer ahankara has to be killed off. This is what it is. This is something you have to be caught. You have to be transformed. You cannot transform the knowledge. You have to be transformed. The mind has to undergo this transformation. So humbly, with folded, joined hands, it comes through the rear service door and says, how can I help? Then you tell the mind, absorb this knowledge. Sit and listen and absorb this knowledge. Then it becomes a receptacle where the knowledge shines. The mind/buddhi becomes a receptacle where the knowledge shines. It is not the author. And all this here, this is the way to make the mind cooperate in the pursuit. And the first step is to know that it is different from you. You are not the mind. So when one starts to get sad or angry or upset, some deep breaths, sometimes in a paper bag, some deep breaths, and then, you remind yourself of this text and of other texts like this, which say you are not the sum total of your mind. Then, going further, Swapna Jagarite Supti Bhava Bhava Udhiyan Tatha Yo Vetya Vikriya Sakshat Sohamitya Vadharaya. This now, the same logic of you being different from the mind, etc., from the body, from the senses, is extended to something a little harder to distinguish from, which are what is called the three states of existence. What are the three states of existence? Yeah, waking, sleep, and dream. Waking dream, no, because unless you're talking of a daydream. Waking, sleep, and then dream. Dream is called Ardha Vikasa. You sleep, and then you kind of half wake up. And then from the memory closet, the memory closet is opened, and all the things are not very well arranged there, and neither sequentially nor chronologically. And so then they all come tumbling down, and one of them rolls out. And then that's called dream. Memory and desire. You can never dream of what you don't know. You can only dream of what you know. Oh, but once I dreamed of a place which I don't know. And then I went there. And it was exactly like the dream. How is this possible? Easy. You saw it in a photo. No, I never saw it in a photo. Then also it's easy. Last life you were there. Simple. Some memory from last life must be persisting. So here the three states of existence are taken. This is a little bit difficult than saying I'm not the mind. The mind is me, but I'm not the mind. It's a little more involved because it is something so intimate. Sleep is your own intimate experience, waking, dreaming, etc. It's so personal. It belongs to you. And so nobody says, I am the sleeper. Why? Because you're asleep. Simple. And nobody says, I am the dreamer. Very seldom you can say, you have a kind of a lucid dream where you know you are dreaming. But generally, the dream is there, sleep is there, and only in the waking state, you can say, I am the waker. So here, these three states, everybody undergoes, it's a universal experience. Swapna jagarite, swapnam cha jagaritam cha, swapna jagarite, dual. So this dvandva samasa, it's a compound. And so swapnam cha jagaritam cha, swapna jagarite, then sushupti, deep sleep. These three states, even though we get into it and out of it every single day, we don't think much about it at all. We have no opinion about it at all. We don't think about it at all. Why? Because one is identified with it completely. In sleep, of course, one is one with sleep. Who thinks about sleep? Nobody. You're just sleeping, and everything is in laya. The world has come down. It's getting a shut eye along with you. The world is not awake to you. You are not awake to the world. In a way, there is no world for you at all. This is the sushupti, sleep state. Then we have the dream, where the items from the memory closet and the desire closet. Oh, there is also a desire closet? Yes, apparently. That too has been closed with great difficulty. 4 or 5 people had to stand in front of it and let the latch click. So many desires. So in dream, they came tumbling out, and the memory and desire together, they constitute, they bring forth the dream state, where you give yourself a body, where all the people in the dream have a body, the inanimate things also have a being. In fact, it's all you. The dream is a totally solipsistic experience. It's all you. Who else is there? It's you. You have given yourself a body. You dream that there are 4 or 5 friends. You're going boating in the river. Boat is you, and the oars are you. The friends are you. The water, even the inanimate things, insentient things like water and the flora and plants and shrubs on the banks of the river are you. Fish in the river, you. Oh, is that a blue heron? That's you. No, that's you. And it's all you. Your whole world of memory and desire, your personal jagat has been created. You have projected your own world. Very interesting. And then the alarm clock rings. You have to, that world has to be quickly, neatly dismantled in a split of a second and put away. That happens. Ishvara does that. Ishvara dismantles the dream world as soon as you wake up. Ishvara means the universal laws of waking, dreaming, etc. Ishvara is manifest as the laws. So the laws, take care of it. You don't find your friends that you dreamt of sitting on the bed and slightly annoyed. Why did you have to dream of me? Now I'm late for work. You'll never find them saying that. They're not really there. They are in their bed sleeping. You are dreaming about them, and in fact, their body is nothing but your body. You have given them a being. This is what is called the dream state. In the dream state, are you a karta, a doer, an agent of action, or are you a bhokta, a recipient of action, or both, or neither? Pin drop silence. Bhokta. Bhokta. You are an experiencer. You don't do anything. Otherwise, everybody would be jailed more often than they thought. Because in the dream, you biff somebody. Because you were angry with in the waking state, you biff them in the dream. And the next day, battery, assault, all these things, charges would be there. No. Even if you kill somebody in the dream, you are not culpable, you are not a doer at all. Everybody recognizes this, including the state recognizes this. If you go turn yourself in, handcuff me. Why? Because I hit somebody in the dream. They will just laugh at you and send you away because it is not culpable. You don't know what you're doing there. It's a different state. And so therefore, the rules of engagement here of how you use your volition, your free will, does not apply there, because in dream there is no free will. It's just a rehearsal of the memory and the desire. Even if you dream I have free will, it is still tethered to that memory and desire. So you are not a doer in the dream. Are you a karta, a doer in sleep? No. Even if you kick the person sleeping next to you off the bed, you are still not the doer. You don't even have to apologize because you're not culpable. You're not the doer. You didn't even know what you were doing. This has been the defense of many people. Some people went and stabbed somebody. It was there in the case. And then they said I was sleepwalking. They were not tried. I mean, they were tried and not found guilty. They were sleepwalking. This was the defense. So in sleep, are you karta or bhokta? Bhokta, because you're enjoying. Don't say neither. In sleep, bhokta. In dream, bhokta. What about in the waking state? Both. Yes. First you do something and then you sit and cry. So first you do something that should not be done, karta, then you sit and cry, bhokta. Both are there. You are the doer, you are the agent, and you are the experiencer in the waking state. In the waking state, and then therefore, because of this reason of being the karta is only in the waking state. Only in the waking state you can use your free will that you have. You can dream of a free will, but then it's not the same as using it freely, so to speak. But that is there only in the waking state. You can use the free will. Only in the waking state you can produce, you can act, and you can think that you are producing results of action. And only in the waking state you can sit down to enjoy the results of those actions. This is how it is. That's why the waking state is dear to all of us. And it is also the bane of everybody's existence. Nobody complains of dreams. Nobody complains. I have a question. What is it? I just sleep every night. What should I do? Nobody complains. Yesterday night also I slept. Day before yesterday night also I slept. In fact, I have been sleeping every night, and that is my complaint. Nobody complains. Nobody complains of this at all. So that shows it's not a problem. So what is the source of complaint? The source of complaint is in the waking state alone, not in the dream state, not in the sleep state. Only in the waking state one complains. One is the karta, one is the bhokta, one is the pramata, the knower, doer, desirer. Everything in the waking state. That is why the waking state is very dear to us, because here is where one can shine. It is relatively easy to falsify the dream state and the sleep states. Because you can say, the dream state, it was a dream. $10 million you won in the lottery. Where? Dream. In the dream. And then you woke up and started to plan on buying a dream house, because now you not only do you have the down payment, you can pay for 10 such houses in cash. So do you start looking for houses after waking up? No. That was then, this is now. That was then, this is now. Yeah, you don't look for it. Because that was just a very realistic dream. I had my hands on that check, and unfortunately it blew away from my hand even in the dream. Not enough punya, that's why. So even to hold the check. So then that is why the 10 million went away. It's very easy to falsify that, even if you took it to the bank, that it was a dream money, and it was the dream body that took it to the dream bank. And yes, it can finance the home in the dream state, but not in the waking state. Never in the waking state. It cannot do that. And so therefore what? So therefore, there is no transactability going in between the dream and the waking states. And the sleep state, of course, is its own thing. So it's easy to falsify the dream state. It's easy to falsify the sleep state. Easy to say, okay, I was sleeping, but that's just a state. Dream, that just comes, it's a state. But the waker and the waking state is taken to be so real. This is the problem. That there is no space between myself and the waking person. The waker is identified with the I. Waker is me. I am also the waker. I am as good as the waker. So as karta, one gathers a lot of headaches, because whatever one does not like the effects of that. And then you want a redo, and then 2.0, the things that you do the next time around also you do not like. 3.0, that also you do not like. And therefore it gives way to sorrow, pain, fear. This is what happens. Then after that, what? The bhokta. Bhoktritvam also is a superimposition on that which is free of being an experiencer. Kartritvam, doership, is a superimposition, and as though superimposition on that Atma which is free of being a doer. Neither the doer nor the experience I am. This is experiencer I am, I have to know. And in order to know that, you have to be able to falsify, as it were, the waking state as well. And this is what this particular verse is asking us to do. Swapna jagarite sukti bhava bhavau. Bhava means all the things that you encountered in the dream, in the waking, and in the sleep. In sleep, of course, you don't encounter anything. So in the dream and the waking, all the things that you encountered. Bhava bhavau. And then bhava is appearance. Abhava is absence. So the appearance and absence of various things that are cognized by you, all in the form of various cognitions, dhyam, tatha, yaha vedti, the one who knows these cognitions of both bhava, things that were present in the dream, in the waking, and things that were absent in the sleep and in the waking and in the dream, the witness of the absence and presence of everything, bhava and abhava, then that is the one who is what? It is neither, it is not subject to change. Abhikriyaha, sakshat. It's the directly experiences and everything without having any vikriya, avikriyaha. And then, so that it's that changeless I that is direct. Sakshat means directly cognized. It is directly cognized without the help of needing to be objectified. It doesn't need to be made into an object in order to be objectified. There are two ways to know something. One way to know something is that it is what is called in Sanskrit pramana siddha, pramana prasiddha. Means you take recourse, you take the help of a means of knowledge in order to know something. Like you want to see something, and you operate your eyes and you see form, you see color, correct? And so you have used the eyes. And then you want to hear something, and then you again use the ears and you listen to the music. You listen to the music, you use the ears. And like this, the object, which is the sound here, in this case, comes to light. Then what else comes to light? Object of sight comes to light. Object of hearing, the sound, comes to light. Most things in the world are cognized in this way. There's only one thing that is not cognized in this way, namely yourself. How are you cognized? How do you cognize yourself? Yeah, it is a self-cognition. It's not a cognition that is dependent upon another means of knowledge. It is self-lit, self-illumined cognition, which is called in Sanskrit as swatas siddha. So you see the difference? Pramana siddha, all objects, but the subject I is already self-luminous. Are you here? Yes, that is it. That is the self-luminous I. Are you here? Yes. The answer comes. You don't have to say, let me check and get back to you. No. Yes, I am here. I am. This is what it is. And so that is the difference between the I and everything that is the not I. The not I has to be brought to light with the help of a means of knowledge, inference, sight, etc. But the I is not subject to needing a means of knowledge to illuminate, because it is self-luminous, self-evident, self-radiant, or anything you want to say. And this is why This is why here it says that the cognition that illumines the sleep state. And in sleep state, what is there? Absence. Absence is there in the sleep state. Sleep state is there. When you cognize sleep state, it's a cognition of absence in hindsight. Oh, I was fast asleep. There was nothing. I did not know anything. So the absence in sleep state, and then the absence and presence of objects in the dream and the waking state are cognized by who? Who is that who is cognizing? Why, that is me. Yes, it is you, consciousness, that does not need to be revealed. Sakshat means self-revealing. It is that self-revealing consciousness which is cognizant of absences and presences in the various states of existence, sleep, dream, etc., waking. But then it also knows that I am unchanging. It knows about itself. Know that consciousness to be yourself alone. It's nothing other than you. That is where you bring in that identification. You take that to that, not anywhere else. Ghatavabhasako deepah. Ghatadanyo yatheshyate. Dehavabhasako dehi. Tathaham bodha vigraha. You cannot swallow the visargas. We'll do that one more time. Okay. Ghatavabhasako deepah. Ghatadanyo yatheshyate. Dehavabhasako dehi. Tathaham bodha vigraha. Aham bodha vigraha. I am nothing but an incarnation of consciousness. I'm not the waker, I'm not the sleeper, I'm not the dreamer. Dreamer is me because it cannot exist without me. But I'm not the dreamer, I'm not the waker, I'm not any of these things. And so, aham bodha vigraha. I am consciousness incarnate. I'm an embodiment of consciousness and consciousness alone, nothing other than consciousness. And then tatha means in the same manner. Which manner? An example is given. There is a lamp. There is the light of a lamp. No electric lights. Only this one lamp is there. And next to it you keep a pot. What happens to the pot? The pot comes to light. The pot is illumined by the lamp. Right? Yeah. The pot is illumined by the lamp. And here is the pot, are the pot and the lamp one and the same? No. The illuminer and the illumined can never be one and the same. The illuminer has the job of illumining, and it can only illumine something other than itself. It itself is self-illumined, that we have already discussed. That's not in play here. So the illuminer can only illumine something other. It can throw the light. The lamp does not need to illumine itself, does it now? No. It is self-illumining. It can only throw the light on something else. So if the lamp is shining on a pot, it illumines the pot, and you can say, this is a pot. You can say that. So ghata avabhasakaha deepaha. So the lamp that illumines a pot. Ghatat anyaha. It is separate from the pot. Yatha. In which manner we recognize this? Ishyate. Ishyate means that is the ideal situation. It's accepted as separate from the pot. which it illumines. Similarly, I am consciousness incarnate. I am the one that is consciousness incarnate. And then what? And then I am the one that illumines everything. Starting with what? Deha. I illumine this body. I illumine the mind. If I illumine the mind, I'm separate from the mind. It's clear. If I illumine the body, I'm separate from the body. So I, the consciousness, illumines the body, mind, sense complex without becoming any of them. This is the meaning. There's a lot here. We'll see this tomorrow. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om